Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. This is going to be my non-spoiler review for Star Wars: The Last Jedi. I fucking love this movie, but I need to see it again. Like, I know I love it. I was blown away by this movie. I was blown away. There were so many great things about this movie. Some minor things that I wish I would change, but spoilers. But I really love this movie, but I need to see it again because there's a lot of things I bet I missed that I need to see again. Because that's what I noticed when I watched The Force Awakens. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh my god! And then there was things I missed. And when I rewatched the film, I'm like, oh, I missed that part. Or I interpret things differently. This movie is no different, okay? There are so many things that happen in this movie that it takes multiple viewings, I think, to really understand the scope of this movie. Wow. The critics that saw this movie early, that were giving their reactions online and posting their reviews online, when they were saying that Rian Johnson, the director of this film, takes risk, he takes risk. There are things they do in this movie that turn everything you think about Star Wars on its head for some bits. There's some things that happen in this movie you go, what? In a good way, I think. At least that's why I interpret it. I'm like, holy shit. There's a lot of new things introduced that obviously I won't go into here because it's spoiler, but damn. Okay, so in this review, we're going to go through some individual characters. I'm not going to obviously get too specific. I'm only going to talk about vagues and what we've been shown in trailers for certain characters, but this fucking movie's amazing. If that's all you wanted to hear is if I loved it, hated it, liked it, I love this movie. I just need to see it again. I have to see it again. And then maybe again, then maybe again, then again, and again. Like, it's one of those movies that I think I will enjoy multiple viewings of, and I won't get bored of it. God, the ending was surprising too. The ending, I'm like, this is an interesting way to end this movie. And if you saw the movie, you understand what I mean, because you're like, wait, what? And then it ends. Not really a cliffhanger, but it's a nice tease to what we might see. So, anyways, let's jump into some individual characters. We're going to start off with first with, of course, the main character of the film, Rey. So, we saw Rey in The Force Awakens, and there were so many theories and speculation of who is Rey, what is the deal with this girl, what is going on with this character. Is her name even actually Rey? Or is it all, like, what is it? They explore a lot of her character in this movie. There is some great development with her character. There are some things answered, and there's other things left open for interpretation. There's other things where you'll go, okay, I got answers to certain things, but there's other things that I want to know, but they're not saying, or they're being vague, non-specific. I really enjoy her in this film. I think Daisy Ridley, the actress, I think she did a phenomenal job as Rey, and I love this character. I love what she did in this film, and I love her journey throughout this film. It's very interesting. If I go into more details, we're getting into spoiler territory, but she's badass. She's badass. She's a great character, and they do some really interesting things that make you go, I didn't see them going in this direction with her, but they do. They go into some pretty interesting direction. I think you guys will really enjoy it. If you haven't seen the film yet, I think you're really going to enjoy it. And if you did, I hope you guys enjoyed it. So let's jump into the one, the only, Luke Skywalker. Now this was the biggest question, I think, besides who was Rey's parents. The biggest question after that, or rivaling that question, is what is Luke's role going to be in this movie? He literally was the cliffhanger of 7. What is his role? Well, from what you kind of saw, bit of a curmudgeon. Is that the right word? He's not too fond of this whole idea of what? Wait, what? And you know the line. It's time for the Jedi to end. We see Luke go through an amazing journey in this film. I won't get into specifics. They've kept it under wraps. They've shown some great shots of Luke. Now, I know they put out a lot of TV spots. I don't know what exactly they've shown in the TV spots of Luke, but there are some fantastic stuff. And I'm kind of glad I missed a lot of the TV spots, because I'm afraid some of these things could have been revealed. But there are some amazing moments in this movie. There's amazing callbacks in this movie. There's a great moment that I won't get into specifics that happens with Luke, and I'll talk more about it in a spoiler. I'm gonna do a spoiler live stream and all that kind of stuff talking about this, but I love Luke. I've always loved his character. A New Hope, I was like, I like this character, and then Empire, then Return, and now in the Last Jedi, Luke is in a very different place. Luke is not who we're used to seeing from the original trilogy, and I'm okay with that because they go into detail of why Luke is on that island, why he has secluded himself. Now we've heard in the canon and all that kind of stuff kind of what happened, but we see his understanding, his reasoning. We understand where he's coming from. It's beautiful. I just love what they did with Luke in this movie. It is fucking beautiful. And I won't say any more. But my God, I'm so glad that we got to see a lot of Luke in this movie. And you do. You see quite a bit of Luke in this movie. Next up, this one's hard. Leia. Now, this is not really a spoiler. So, if it's a spoiler, I don't know why it is. You see Leia pretty early in this movie. Pretty early on. And she has a bigger role in this film than Force Awakens. So if you haven't seen the film yet, she has a lot more to do in this film than The Force Awakens, so don't worry. But if you did see the movie, then you see the awesomeness. There is a scene, apparently, because after I got home, there was a scene in this movie involving Leia. And I'm not going to get into specifics. I'm not going to say anything about what it was. But there's a scene that apparently was getting hated online featuring Leia. The scene, and I won't say what it is, to me, I think was beautiful. It was fucking crazy. It blew my mind. It blew my mind. I'm like, what? And the way they set it up, I'm like, wait, did that, what? And then they leave you hanging for a couple of minutes, about a minute or 2, 3 minutes. Then they go back to it, and then you see the unfolding of this moment. It is fucking great. Carrie Fisher, when I found out that she died, I was at work and I couldn't really express my feelings about it. It hurt. It fucking hurt. I grew up watching the original trilogy, but I'm glad that she got way more to do in this movie than The Force Awakens, and she shines in this movie. I don't, I won't say anything else because it's spoiler territory, but Carrie Fisher, fucking, she is Leia. Like, she is not playing Leia, she is Leia in this movie. It is beautifully done. It's, to me, I have to see the film again, but I do think this is her best performance as the character. I think. That's just me. But some might say, no, original trilogy, and that's okay, but I think she played this role beautifully. She was Leia in this movie to me. Okay, let's move on from this because I don't want to get too emotional. Next up, we're going to talk about Finn and Rose, a brand new character. Now, Finn and Rose go on an adventure, as it's been kind of hinted at by interviews and all that kind of stuff, and there were some people criticizing that this is one of the things they didn't like, this whole side mission they were going on, this whole thing between these two characters. I personally enjoyed the fact that we kind of were following these two characters on a side thing compared to the scope of what's happening over here with these other characters. I thought it was okay. We got to learn more about this. Like, we got to learn about Rose really quickly. Like, we first get introduced to her, and her first introduction to the film, not really a spoiler, is with Finn. And we see these two characters connect, and we see them go on this journey, like I said, together. And I think Finn did a pretty good job here. What is his name? I forget his name on the top of my head. I'm very sorry, guys, about the actor's name there. I forget. John Boyega, right? I think that's his name. He did a pretty good job as Finn. I personally liked him more in The Force Awakens, but I still liked his character here. Okay, it's not like, oh, I don't like Finn that much. No, I like Finn in The Force Awakens, but I liked him more in The Force Awakens than in this movie. But I still enjoyed him here, and I think Rose was a nice addition, a nice character to add to the Star Wars franchise. I liked her personality compared to Finn. It was kind of cool to see that, and it was cool to see them bond throughout this film. So I really enjoyed Finn in this film. Not as much Force Awakens, but Rose, I enjoyed the new character, and yeah, pretty good stuff there. So, and that was that's my thing, is that when we got introduced to the 3 new characters, which we're talking about we're going to talk about the third new character from The Force Awakens next, Poe. But I like the fact that we got introduced to 3 main characters, Poe, Finn, and Rey, in The Force Awakens, and then it's like, okay, we're going to introduce more characters, and the fact that when they introduce more characters, it doesn't feel like it's cluttered, like, oh, there's too many new things going on. No, the story is continuing. It's not going to be just sticking on the original trilogy characters. We're going to keep expanding and introduce. So I'm expecting in 9, we're going to be introduced to more new characters that are going to be put into the fold that will help expand the Star Wars universe, and I think it's pretty smart, and I think Rose is a nice addition. Poe, the fucking man. Oscar Isaac does a fantastic job as this damn character. There were some people that were criticizing, saying, you know, he was okay. No, I fucking love him in The Last Jedi. I think Poe is a fantastic character. I love the fact that he's a cocky pilot. That's what he is. He just doesn't, he just wants to go and fight. And I like that about him. I like the fact that he is going to do whatever it takes to defend the rebellion, to defend his people, essentially. And he doesn't really go through a character development thing in this film per se, but he does have some great moments in this film, and it really does. It really does make you like this character more. Like, if you liked him in The Force Awakens and you haven't seen the film yet, you're gonna like him, I think, even more after seeing this film. And yeah, Poe's a great character in this movie. Kylo. Not gonna lie to you. It's kind of hard to watch Kylo Ren at this point, because we know what he did in The Force Awakens. You know what he did. But I will have to say this. Kylo goes on an interesting journey in this movie. I won't get into specifics, but there are things, there are risks, there are directions they go in this movie. Rian Johnson goes in this movie that turns everything you think about this character and other characters on its head. He does some pretty interesting things in this movie. Rian Johnson does, the director. Kylo Ren goes through a very interesting journey, and I don't want to say much more because it will get into spoilers, but it is... We saw the journey in The Force Awakens. You saw what he went through. You saw for where he started and where he ended in The Force Awakens. And you think a certain thing's going to happen. You think this is the direction that Kylo's going to go in The Last Jedi. More than likely, you might have been wrong. Because they do things in this movie, not with just Kylo, but just in general, that make you go, what the fuck? Wait, what? And I think that's the whole point. The whole point is for us to not go, oh, okay, it's going to go this way. It's cut and paste. We know what's happening. It's easy. No. Every single time you think something's going to happen, they flip it. And Kylo is one of those characters where you think this is the direction they're going, and they flip it. They do some things. They make you scratch your head and go, what the fuck? Wait, what? And they keep pushing forward, and you have to keep up. So, I can't really get into specifics, but Kylo has some great moments in this film. I hate him because he killed Han Solo. Not really a spoiler at this point, because the movie's been out for 2 years. But, damn, Kylo. I won't say much more because it's a spoiler, but damn. Supreme Leader Snoke. So, as you can see with the picture here, wait, there. Sorry, it's the camera. I'm still getting used to this fucking webcam. We actually see him in person. We actually do. And when we do see him, the CGI, as you see in that picture, is really good. It is really good. And you learn a lot about Snoke in this film. You learn a lot more about his ideas and what his purpose is and what his mindset is. You kind of got a glimpse of it in The Force Awakens, but they kind of kept it a little, like, very vague. Like, when he talked, they were just kind of hiding some stuff. But I think Snoke is a great villain. And I like some of the things they kind of set up in this movie. It's hard to talk about this movie without getting into specifics. It's hard to talk about this fucking movie without getting into specific characters, storylines, and all that kind of shit. It's hard. But Snoke looked great. Had some great lines, and you saw his power I'll say that. You saw his power in this movie. I'll say that without getting into too specifics. Now, there are some other characters we got introduced to. I don't have them here listed, but I will talk about more in depth about other characters and spoilers in a couple of days on a live stream, and it will be viewable later. But I'm gonna get into more discussion. But there is one more thing we have to talk about before we before I do my final thoughts. There's one more thing we have to talk about. Porgs. We gotta talk about the porgs. Okay, we have to. So I watched this film with my mom and my stepdad, as I usually see most films with them, and now, my stepdad doesn't really respond to a lot. He just watches a film. He doesn't like really react, per se. My mom loves the porgs. I think they're adorable. Like, there are some people that hate the porgs. Before the movie even came out, they hate the porgs. They hate this whole thing. They hate this new creature. I think the porgs are adorable. Now, honestly, what I think saved the porgs for me is that they are not overused in this movie. They are used enough in this movie to make you laugh, to kind of add some comedic relief, and to kind of show you this adorable creature, you know, but it could have been too much. It honestly could have been too much, but it was just enough, in my personal opinion, that I'm like, this is fucking adorable. This is fucking adorable. Like, I want a porg now. I want one now. But, yeah. I'm Team Porg, in a sense. I'm not really a team guy, but thumbs up for a Porg. Why not? They're fucking adorable. Okay. So final thoughts. This movie is definitely a multiple viewing film. It has to, I think you have to see it more than once. And I'm not saying you have to see it more than once to really give your thoughts about it, because I've only seen the movie once. I'm doing this review, but I think I need to see it again as soon as I can. Hopefully again this weekend, if not sometime next week, because I have more time now. But it blew my mind. It took me the film went in directions I did not expect, and I'm still trying to process some things that I saw in this movie, some things that they do that I'm like, what the actual fuck was that? In a good way, like, because it blew my mind. I'm like, I can't say it, but Jesus, this film just does things that make you question, what in the hell did you learn from all these other films about certain things, the Force and all this kind of stuff. It's pretty insane. To me, it kind of opens the door to new things they could do within the Star Wars universe, because some of the things they show in this movie, it's insane. And I really can't wait to dive deep into this thing, because I'm going to be able to kind of just express why I'm saying every 5 seconds in this review, what the actual fuck, because I'm like, what was that? And I can't say it in a non-spoiler review. So, in conclusion, I love this film. There are some things that would change, minor things, but they're spoilery. But I feel like if you enjoy The Force Awakens, there's some people that hate The Force Awakens. If you hate the film, fine. And if you feel like The Force Awakens is a carbon copy of A New Hope, this movie is not a carbon copy of Empire. There might be certain themes that are covered from other Star Wars movies that kind of show up here, but this movie stands out on its own. It doesn't feel like they're copying from another Star Wars movie. It really, it's a special film. I think that it covers a lot of things, and I think it's the longest Star Wars film today, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, it is a roller coaster, and in a good way. Not the fact that there's ups and there's downs, like, it's not good. No, it's a roller coaster because you're constantly moving. You have to keep up. Jesus. I need to see the movie again. That's all I gotta say. Star Wars The Last Jedi, rating out of 10. 10 being, of course, the best. For right now, I have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. It's almost it might even be a 10 out of 10 after I see it again. But for right now, it's a 9.5 out of 10. It is so fucking good. I love the direction they took these characters, and I need to see episode 9. Whatever that movie is going to be, I need to see it now, because there are things they do in this movie. I'm like, they have to explain that. They have to go into more detail in 9, and they fucking better. They better do it. So there you have it, guys. That's the review. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys soon.